this W.O.M. It's about to get mean. I'm here with the team, and this is season 3. What's going on, fellas?
What a life we live.
You know what's crazy? As I was thinking, season 3. What a milestone.
2 years so far?
2 years doing this.
2 years.
Yeah, over 30 to 50 episodes under our belt.
That's true. In counting.
Counting. We have about 60, but 30 of them is about to be released. Can you believe that? We made a quarter of a century really quickly, a lot of views, and now we here.
And we want to thank yous, and you can't see me, but you too.
But
yes.
Buck.
Dajonte.
Dajonte Buck.
No. Buck. I want you, Dajonte, to tell them what to do. Like, comment.
You need to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications, please. And we appreciate each and every single one of y'all for being on this journey with us. So much more to come.
Buck.
How you guys feeling about
down
season 3?
No, I'm sorry.
Before we get started with anything, let me take over real quick.
Please, we're about to start.
What are you guys thankful for season 3?
Think what?
Thankful for.
Thankful for.
What would you be thankful for? I can start.
Go ahead.
I'm thankful for all the, you guys don't see behind the scenes, but I'm thankful for all the mean comments.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, they make me laugh. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny.
They're
know?
funny.
I'm like, come on. Like, if you're going to be mean to us, if you're going to say a mean comment, at least be creative. Like, I like the bad comments. I think they're funny sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy over here, we got to stop him because he be trying to get in the fisticuffs with people in the comments. We got to stop you.
Nah,
Like, you can chill with that.
I don't.
He will see you in the comments with his fists. It's not exaggeration, but what about you guys?
What about you?
I'm grateful for the same, like the comments, but I would say the more interaction with you guys, the fans. You guys, the subscribers, you guys that reach out to our Instagrams and our emails and have a conversation with us in public, and that hit that like button and that follow us and we don't even know, but
Not in real life. Don't follow us in real life.
yeah, well, it's cool too seeing you guys in the gym, and I'm like, wow, you're actually
about to
listening to our
say, like,
content. It's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Nah, I hear our content in the gym.
about
It's kind of
that?
cool.
Oh, man.
Well, that's what
Yeah, I
I'm
hear
grateful for.
you.
That's
What
what I'm
about you,
grateful
Dajonte?
for.
What
I'm
you
just
think?
grateful.
I would say it's more along the lines of the same thing too. I see that people really, truly who do follow us are noticing our growths.
Okay.
You know, noticing our shortcomings, and then also pushing us to like be better as well. So I think that's what I like the most, and not only that, just to see how each and every one of us, like, we like to go back to the tape, and we like to say, how can we do this a little bit more better than the last time? So that's what I'm grateful and thankful for.
And last but not least.
What about you?
Oh, man. So when you do the edit, I want you to put the clip right here. I want to thank you for me. Thank me for being me. Thanks for believing in me. I believe. I'm grateful for myself.
Hey.
This team is cool, but I'm grateful for me.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Yo, you're cool, but I'm better. No, I'm just joking. No, all jokes aside. All jokes
Be
aside.
thankful for Maciah.
You gotta have a healthy dose of love for
No,
yourself.
I'm just joking.
You really
I'm
There's
just joking.
nothing
I'm
wrong
just
with that,
joking.
brother.
No, I'm grateful for one. I'm grateful for all of y'all. Y'all already know that. Taking on the roles, doing this. It's not. We went many months, even years without being paid, and you still worked hard to get there. They don't see the behind the scenes. They just see the finished product.
Yep.
Thank you for your BK Media, the editing, the filming. People don't understand the work that goes behind after we film. We film and go home. We do the editing for the small clips, but they got to make the big thing happen. So pause on that. But yes, Cameron would have said pause. Nah, but
Like,
let's
comment, subscribe.
continue, bro.
Yes.
Back at you.
So, I want to get started season 3 with spiciness, and the greatest thing ever that I love to do, we're going to do the quotes. No, I'm just joking. We are going to do the quote, but it's not my favorite, though. Dajonte?
It's not your favorite.
Nah, it's usually the social.
It's not.
Dang.
It's never been his favorite. Does that hurt
Yo,
you?
anyways.
Damn.
It's an African
tell the
proverb. It's an African proverb
Yes.
that says, "Teach the children who they are, so society does not teach them who they are not."
Teach children who they are so society.
Teach the children who they are, so society doesn't teach them who they are not.
Okay. And what's your thoughts when you hear that quote?
My thoughts on that, especially for, our brown and black melanated children, is to give them a sense of who they are.
Right.
You have to give them identity, especially in a world where you're already attacked since you come out the womb. So a lot of the things in the educational system, we couldn't really find out about ourselves, only then from the aspect of slavery. We didn't know that we had great inventors, we had great kings, we had great philosophers, and it's good to draw from that wealth as a sense of pride, and it makes you have a greater outlook for the future. Instead of seeing that, okay, this is my environment and this is all I'm going to be destined to be. No, that's not the truth. Teach them who they are, teach them their roots. And that's what I get from it.
Hot mic.
Yes, baby.
Do you guys? This is something that I've been juggling around with for a while now.
You've been juggling these? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. Listen, whatever it takes to get these muscles. But,
Whoa.
but have you guys ever sat and thought that we get taught a lot about our traumas, but not a lot about our strengths and our victories
Yes.
as people of the diaspora? Talk about it. Like, what's your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think we pass down these terrible life experiences and never any of the beautiful works of Langston Hughes or sonnets of Ella Fitzgerald or anything like this. We don't pass that down, but we'll pass down all the, make sure you watch out for this and look out for this and all the fears and traumas. All what to watch out for. Make sure he don't do this.
Which
Make
there's
sure
nothing,
they don't do that.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
but
wrong with
at the
it.
same time, I feel like it's too much emphasis on it.
Way too much emphasis.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
should
Have
be
a
more-
balance. I mean, you have to have a realistic approach to the world too. At the same time, that this is what we're facing. But
It should
have-
definitely be taught on your character. Should be built up as a child. Like, hey, what are you into? Like you say, with your hobbies and what?
Well, I'll say that because as I'm getting older, to go along with the quote,
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize that, teach them what they are instead of, so that they don't find out what they're not or whatever. But it's this idea that we're taught to be fearful a lot, not without reason and caution, without cautionary reason. But as I get older, I do realize that there is a lot of taught fear, for better or for worse, within our people. And it carries on so long that it becomes irrational fear sometimes. The PTSD is really deep. So maybe by teaching the next generation to be maybe less fearful or less emphasis on that, maybe we'll build a better generation. I don't know.
What's sad about that though, about the fear that we pass down, we don't even learn to enjoy victories. We don't even know how to identify victories.
That is
We don't know how to accept victories. All we can accept is trauma. All we can accept is pain. All we can accept is hurt. It's crazy. I've seen people and I'm just like, yo, be proud of yourself. You're doing good.
yeah,
And you go into this woe is me mentality because that's all we've been
Victim
taught and conditioned to be. And that's the sucky thing about it. What I would say to your quote is I would love if we as people will start passing down like how the Jewish and other people, the oral
Or tradition.
oral tradition, letting people know the history of your family, let them know you come from some kind of greatness or even the struggles that got you here so that you have the opportunity. Because
that's true.
when you see people in school and they're wasting education or they're wasting funds at college just because they don't even know the struggles. Like my mom is first generation college. She went first one.
That's a huge victory
At
for your
16,
family.
from the whole generation down we're talking about, right? Now she taught me that, made me value college more. Did I want to go? No, but it made me understand the importance of what it meant to be. If we can do that more, a society could get better if we were teaching proper, I would say, tools, proper coping, proper health tips, proper, like, the list can go on,
I
you
think
know?
it's on our generation to do that because even when I talk to my mom, when I listen to her talk about her generation and her siblings and whatnot, the more I go, the longer you go back not even very far, in Black history and Black experiences, you realize there's a lot of repression and a lot of like mental and emotional issues. And you're literally just one generation removed if you're not already in it.
Right.
And I think it's on us at this point to teach whoever's next that you're not defined by where you're at, you're defined by what you settle for.
Right.
Essentially.
That's right.
So don't settle.
Exactly.
Keep striving. Keep thriving. Keep rising to the top.
Yes.
Like that good cream. Next.
Hey.
Right
I'm
back.
talking. Whoa. Let's talk about when you cook
why
milk.
not? On that
Cook
note, that was a
milk,
great
when you cook
finisher.
milk.
That was a great finisher. I give it to you.
Oh, no.
Oh my.
Did you guys have anything else to add to the quote? I don't want to stop if y'all want to.
I said my piece, man.
You said your piece.
Said your piece.
And you know what's crazy? Saying talking about peace, right?
Where we going?
Oh, nah.
with this? Where we
Please
going
let
with
them
this?
know. Please
Please let them know.
Please let them know.
When you talking about peace, like peace of mind,
Yeah.
Having peace.
Some tranquility.
Do you think you can be peaceful with your ex? And speaking about that, why? Talk about it.
You already said it. You want to bring it in?
Keep going. You doing it. I'm just doing a little smooth baby operation, baby.
Just doing the layup.
I'm just laying up alley
We'll get right into the quote, Arthur, whenever you're ready.
the social.
I realized that I really am the girl who was with men for like 2-3 years, and we can still be friends. Most people hate their exes. I don't hate my exes. I feel like I took a piece of every man I've ever been with in my life and learned something from them, and it's a part of me forever. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like that's what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to do that.
I feel like every single person that you date is supposed to be a lesson.
It's supposed to be a lesson, and it's supposed to be something you can learn from it, the good and the bad. There's
And the
nothing
ugly.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did anybody want to go?
I mean, I understand, like,
I can go at it,
you
but-
want to learn and take lessons from that and stuff, but if you're moving on and you're venturing off into a new relationship, why do you need to still have consistent ties with people who are your exes? If a woman could be a friend with a guy,
Okay.
that's her best friend, right? The guy says, just for example, Taby put up that clip, and the guy said, listen, I don't want you to be friends with this guy anymore. They interviewed a guy. Oh, have you guys ever been sexually involved? And the guy's laughing. Didn't say no. Didn't say no. That's a friend. Now we're talking about exes, someone you've been dealing with romantically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to keep them around as friends still? And then more than one? I don't know. For me, that's a red flag for me, in my honest opinion.
Did you? I saw you had something, sir. You had anything?
No, yeah, she. I listened to the video and it's like, okay, 2 years or more, exes, long-term relationship, ex. I don't keep my exes around. I can't be with a person if you keep your ex. It's so much baggage, so much role, like energy that.
But is
If
that
you're
on you
with
for
me-
having a bad ex? Because it clearly sounds like maybe she don't have bad exes.
You
I got to play
no,
devil's
no, no.
advocate.
Well,
I
she
got
said
good
good
like even having a good ex, I can understand having a good ex, but these are your exes. You're now trying to grow something in a new
Exactly.
relationship. How are you? If you're a new person, right? Every experience makes you become new. You know better, you do better. If you're now knowing better and doing better,
You're
supposedly, and you're moving differently, that wouldn't like the ex wouldn't even appeal you anymore because now you've learned and you're moving different. But
But what if you have a genuine friendship with them, though?
I could do a genuine friendship, but now I'm still moving differently for X, Y, and Z purposes on what I'm looking for. And you don't sustain the needs of me now.
You can have.
But we can be friends.
You can have
from a distance.
You can have a genuine friendship with your ex, but how much genuine friendships you gonna have?
Dude, that's a whole other.
But the
I think
question-
maybe one. If I had to be honest, if I had to give my number, I'd say one. But it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 exes. You still cool and ha with?
The question I would ask is, what would you define as a friend? Like, what would be your Because again, I've said this before in previous episodes. We throw that word loosely.
I can
Yeah,
tell,
so
I
you
can tell
could
by your
say-
body language, you're like, this is a little bunch of
Yeah.
malarkey, what she's saying.
Yeah, like
bro,
it's
I love that word.
It's dumb. Like, I do believe you can be friends with an ex, all of them. It's not realistic, but why I say you could, maybe the terms and conditions of what happened expired. Like maybe you move further along, like you moved away, distance is now a factor, but y'all still cool. Or maybe it ended amicably, y'all both want different things and y'all still cool. Okay. But now are we saying that I'm talking to you every day like how I would talk to any one of y'all at given times? I don't think anyone should be that comfortable with your past, because past can also become present again.
Yeah.
You see, that it's the comfortability part of it.
And
like,
then,
how much are you talking to this person?
And then not only that, at the same time, like you have to remember, you were romantically involved with the person, so that's a whole nother
exactly
facet, right?
Putting it on her forehead. having
oh man, all the memories,
all the great memories.
Anytime.
It's the meme. It's like, remember when they call you, they had this person like this.
Yeah. Right? All right, now continue, bro.
Nah, but yeah, definitely. Like, if you have that history, like, you always know that there's gonna be a slight crack in the door.
So
and,
then,
but look,
and knowing myself as a man is like, come on.
So you know saying you got a weak will?
You have to I don't have a weak will.
Don't worry, we'll talk about your will a little bit.
We'll get into that a little bit, because it seems we're gonna have an A&E intervention, right? I got the scoop in on it. All right. So all right, go ahead.
What's your question, bro?
No, I just have a question on the these exes. Like, some will say, well, he's a resource for X, Y, and Z. I use him for car mechanic work and
get a new mechanic.
But even if that's not that bad. The one that gets me is when you can really be like best friends. After you have a sexual history with somebody,
it changes things.
It's hard to be best friends. Friends, casual. When I say friends, I'm more on that when people treat as acquaintances.
Yeah, right.
Right? Where you talk, you might help them.
Hey,
they check in, you check in. You know what I mean? Because if that's your best friend, would you invite that person to your wedding? That's weird. That is weird. Yo, like as she's walking down the aisle, I see my ex in there. I'm like, damn, I used to pipe that down.
I'm sure it
might roll across your mind.
All the memories gonna come.
But it wouldn't be the first time that's happened in reality. Like,
that is true.
Yeah, that's happened numerous times.
All the time. Let's be real.
Yes, people are sneaky.
Oh, you was about to say something.
I was gonna say, what do you think? Could you allow your ex to come to your wedding? Because in this future, you actually get married. You know, you were against it, and then you finally got married.
So personally, I don't have beef with any of my exes. I always say, like, I'm lucky enough to not have been with like super toxic whatever people. But at the same time, I know that in most relationships, man or woman, nobody wants to deal with an ex because they're in the past for a reason. It's like, why are you bringing this old person back up? If they need to be so prevalent, why aren't you with them?
Exactly.
And then also too, if they're an ex, why do you make them such a dominant part of your life? I thought you would have learned something. Like, granted, like, we're not coming at the woman in the video. We're not, saying nothing necessarily about her. But at the same time, I'll go on record and say, if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many exes, after a while, and you're not improving, you're not learning anything in your relationships, like, you can say, like, oh, I learned this from my ex, and I learned that from this ex. I'm like, well, clearly you ain't learned enough because you just keep wrapping up the exes.
So let me ask you this question. What do you think is too much exes? Like, that, not even just counting, saying, like, she's friends with them, just like, say if she wasn't friends with them, but how would you say, like, their history, given their history? How much you think is too much exes? To say, like, this person is not really learning in romantic relationships.
To be honest, I mean, I don't want. We're obviously on a time limit, so I don't
I
want
know,
to
yeah,
go too
go
deep into
ahead,
it.
go
But
ahead.
to like,
Give your opinion. It's your opinion.
Oh, did you?
No, I'm guessing.
Oh, I'll go on a limb and say, honestly, it could be 1.
Sorry, he was so close. Yeah.
I'll be honest to say 1, because it's not necessarily how many people you've been with, but it's like how much have you improved from these lessons that you need to learn.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't think we can quantify the number of exes. Like, that is very harsh and unrealistic to even think. Because you got to also know that time.
Harsh,
no, not you.
No.
Don't worry, we'll talk about it.
This got me down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm kidding.
No, that was good. That was
With your
good.
harshness in the
No, because when I think about it, where were you in that time, that mindset? What if you had 3 exes in a year? Because we were talking beforehand, if you're just saying you established a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And then 3-4 months it didn't work, but then you got into something. Maybe you didn't mentally put yourself in a better position, didn't think properly, X, Y, and Z. But I do believe there's a certain point, but I can't say you can quantify the number.
Okay.
I agree.
Right? But if you're stagnant in all 5 relationships, then the
If there wasn't
problem
no improvement,
is you. It's not them.
Gotcha.
It can't be them. But that's me. What you think?
No accountability. I do.
Because you asked the question.
No. In my respects, I think that you're right. It isn't quantifiable by a number, but I would say I'll go off that if the person is improving little by little in each one, it's something. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the goal for anybody in the world of dating. Because
Right.
I always say, like, every relationship that you're in will fail except your last one.
Right.
Unless your last one failed and you're just by yourself for the rest of your life. Listen, it's facts.
But they need to learn to be alone first and then kind of learn themselves first before going to date into another relationship. Take time for yourself
But
after the breakups.
How often do people do that?
Not often.
How often, especially from, I'm not just trying to take hits, talking about for the females and
You're
stuff.
right.
How often do they actually take time to say, I'm gonna go within and I need to heal and I need to have time for myself? How often?
I'll challenge you.
Just
Here
real quick.
goes.
Just real quick. That's how I view and respect relationships because I've had very few. I've only had probably 3 serious relationships ever in my whole life.
Me too.
Three serious relationships.
And a baby
Everything else was fling.
Mm.
But go ahead.
Y'all know who y'all
Go ahead, bro.
what I'll say is that if you can, you're lucky if you can have a copacetic relationship with even one ex.
That is true.
You're fortunate.
That is true.
You're fortunate. That's not normal. I can say I'm not normal, but also too, like, I'm not necessarily friends with my exes. I learned the harsh way from my first long-term relationship that more likely than not, your friendship with your ex is only contingent on the fact of your relationship.
Right.
The friendship with your partner only occurs while you're in a relationship.
Right.
Rarely does it ever occur outside of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember you did mention that.
it's listen, I had to learn that the hard way. But with that being said, like, it sounds all nice when people's like, oh yeah, I'm friends with my ex and this and that. Yeah, we all cool and blah, 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 and this and that. After a while, when you start, like, come on, let's be real. Most of the people that say that, they don't understand that you need to learn how to cut off your past in certain aspects and learn from it. If I'm with somebody, I'm not a jealous person, like, conventionally whatsoever. If you happen to be cool with an ex or whatever, there's nothing I can really do about that.
Right.
However, I also don't bring up my past, not because I'm trying to hide it, but just because, do you really want to know about who I've been fucking?
And it's out of respect too, because why do you need to know about my ex if me and you are in this together?
And also too, the reality is that not everybody is comfortable talking about your past and what you've done with other people.
So you said that there's nothing that you could really do about it. But is there a level where you can say, you know what, maybe you're a little bit too friendly with the next?
Absolutely.
What is that? Like, give me an
Anything-
example.
Anything physical touch in terms of, like, you have to learn how to remove that from the friendship now
their
as well
friendship.
too.
Okay, minus that.
You also have to learn about how much time you're indulging in that person because they are not your partner anymore. So to go on a quick tangent, not necessarily about exes, I have female friends, and even in therapy right now, I'm trying to talk about it. Like,
Oh, you started recently.
I started like maybe April or something.
Congratulations. That's good.
But I talk about this weird concept of the reality is your friends, if you have opposite friends, opposite gender relationships, if you're a guy and you have female friends, eventually your female friend, she's going to find her forever male partner and pretty much just throws all of her guy friends to the side.
Which is right.
Are you really friends at that point?
Yeah, still could be. It's a level.
I think you're both right. But the reality is that at least there's some sort of respect and understanding that, hey, this is my main partner, and because we have our partnership, there is some sort of space that needs to happen between me and the opposite sex in general.
So when you say space, because I want to start quantifying, giving people examples and applications. So when you say space now, is talking every day an issue in your eyes?
It depends. Like, it's not always that simple. What if y'all work together?
That's there. I'm talking about you don't work together.
You don't work-
Your best. She
What
said
if y'all-
that's her bestie.
What if y'all
and y'all talk every day?
What if you hang out in friend groups and they're always in the friend group? I'm just playing devil's
No,
advocate.
no, that's cool. But how about the one-on-one talking? Like he calls her every day.
Nah, chill
Or
on that. You
every
bugging.
week.
Nah.
Okay, I just wanted to
Nah,
see
you
where
bugging.
we're
You
we
bugging.
at.
Nicknames?
Every day. I mean, every week I can understand because you may have,
A check-in type thing.
or you have a repertoire. Like that's what y'all normally do.
No,
No?
that's a hard no
Alright,
for me.
hard no.
It's because I know how females think, and if a guy is giving them that much attention, it's went beyond the threshold of friendship now, in her mind.
And what about you?
Yo, dude, women control it, so they are really like, like you said, they getting that attention. They're just, they're eating it up. They're loving
They're
it.
getting their
Feed me
needs
more.
met.
That's the need.
And you know what's funny about this, right? One thing I would say before, not to just bash the video, they did have some good points. One, he says that there's lessons that the guy in the background said there's lessons that we can learn.
Agreed.
Good and bad.
Yes.
It should help you grow. She did say it as
Yes.
well.
But
So
I want to hold on on that really quickly. How many of us actually, like the people that say like, oh, I'm friends with all my exes, and how much are they actually learning from these previous
That's true.
relationships is my question. Like, let's be real. How many of us get into relationships in and out but actually grow from it? I am on record saying that I am probably one of the biggest issues in all of my relationships. For various reasons, but like that's me holding myself accountable. How
damn,
many
you
people?
need a hug?
Hell yeah, you know.
Now, when you say,
Yo, I'm with you on that. I'm the same.
I love
I'm
that
the
part.
problem.
oh,
Transparent.
sorry.
Look at you, man. We got to get this intervention already. You're a
I'm
monster.
getting the shakes. I'm curious to know, why do you say that you're the problem?
It's recognizing, like I say that as a grand, like as an overall summary, while recognizing that they have responsibility in it. But at the end of the day, for the most part, every relationship that I've been in ended because of my choice.
Right.
Or my lack of something that happened at the time. Whether it be attention, whether it be
You're not giving enough attention to
or
the person.
understanding, or
Okay.
one thing that I tell people, don't do things out of anger.
Yeah.
You know, these are the things that I've
You
learned.
can't take it back.
You can't take it back. So I've learned that. But like this sounds cute and cool, like not saying anything about her.
Right.
It sounds nice, but it rarely ever works like that in reality. And I don't want any sort of like false expectations.
Right. And go ahead.
And I would say it's not a good look per se if you're trying to attract a really good partner, I would say, because let's be honest, I feel like any guy wouldn't be, I don't think any guy in his right mind would be comfortable with you being friend with all your exes, or even vice versa. A shorty being comfortable with a guy who's friends with all his shorties he used to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
A girl told me she was actually comfortable with that when I had this conversation with her. Because she said she had 7. I was like, you have 7 people you're comfortable with?
She's
You know what?
still friends with them. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, we got to stop talking.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
Go ahead. I'm done.
And what?
I was
Go
just
ahead.
I was just
Go
gonna say
ahead
one more
first
thing.
before.
It's like dang, I lost my train of thought. But, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Well, what did you want to say before I ask my question? Because it's a question.
No, go ahead, because I'm going.
All right, let's stop hot
So go ahead.
potatoing. Let's go ahead and say it.
Granted, what you said is realistic, is understandable for adults. But if you have a young person dating, teenage, high school, college, whatever, would you really want them to have this idea in their head that they should be comfortable having more exes to learn more, or should they just be in a healthy relationship and learn how to be?
But that's
a
not what
partner?
she's saying, though. That would be different if that's what they got. But she's saying she's comfortable with them, but she's not saying to have many exes.
She's not saying that, but at the same time,
and it's not implying either.
But you can take away from this idea that it's okay to have as many exes,
Pretty much.
if you can have a good friendship with them. Because why should I be worried about it if we all have a happy relationship?
Yeah.
Not knowing how that can be perceived by your current partner or future partner.
Well, that too.
Like, would you put it like this? Would you tell it's okay? Would you tell a teenager, or you got a little brother? Would you tell them that it's okay to? Oh yeah, if you have a bunch of exes, but y'all cool, it's not a big deal. Would you say that? Would you tell them that?
What if he has exes? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, like you can learn from your exes. Like it's okay as long as you're learning from your exes. It doesn't matter how many exes you have.
But that's not what she said. But yes, I would say it's okay
That's
to
not what she's
have
saying.
exes, and it's okay to learn from them.
Yeah.
But we just have to remember, not everyone is going to be your friend. There's going to be some is going to stay around to be manipulated.
Yeah.
Some is going to still use you as a boyfriend, like
Boyfriend
friendship.
and girlfriend energy.
Yeah, where you do stuff
do.
together, but y'all just friends.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So choose wisely.
I would just say choose wisely. Yeah. But before we continue, right? I think
But
the video.
and
Go
one
ahead.
last thing, sorry to interject, it's
All
real
right.
quick.
Yeah.
I do agree with what you're saying.
I agree.
I don't think it should get normalized because I think the main idea across the board should be, try to have healthy relationships where that's not the norm.
Agreed.
That's all. That's all.
All right, so I was saying with this video, it's cool and I'm glad.
Yeah,
But now
for bringing this up,
I also believe like,
it's a good convo.
yeah, time is pressing us. So let's get to the main.
Let's get to the
Source
meat
of
and
it,
potatoes.
yeah.
So you can close it up.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, continue to watch who you date. Continue to watch the energy you give, and continue to be in the presence of whoever you're dating with. Remember, your past is your past for a reason. A lot of times we muddy the waters and be like, and then things go bad with your current situation, then you think you're gonna fall back on your ex. That's BS. So you know what was also, I think, too, why some people keep exes, they lack a certain type of discipline, right? So let's continue to talk about discipline. And we're gonna hone in on one specific type of discipline.
Season 3, spicy style.
Spicy style season 3. Let's talk about what discipline we're talking about today.
Yes, Mr. Wise Guy.
What discipline is
We
this?
are talking about sexual discipline. Have you guys ever even heard the term sexual discipline before? I even brought this up in the chat.
Yeah.
A
Really?
little bit,
I've
yeah.
heard of it before.
I didn't.
I've heard it from the people that practice and they abstain from
Jerking off.
no, not that ejaculating. What they call it? They inseminate.
retention.
Semen retention. They
Yeah.
inseminate. It makes you more
I forget.
godlike.
You were a red pillar, that's right.
I was never a red pill. I was always.
You was a red pillar.
I was always a Thanos purple pill.
Oh, stop it. You said I'm a power stone. But first, before we do anything with sexual discipline, so because I didn't know, and apparently you guys know, Dajonte obviously knew because he's a red pillar. Stop. So first we need to define
You'll be
sexual
hearing from my
discipline.
lawyer. No, I'm kidding.
That was good.
I'll kick his ass too. So first we need to define sexual discipline, right?
Right.
So according to sexualdiscipline.com,
Right.
According to sexualdiscipline.com, sexual discipline is a comprehensive, biblical, and relational approach to integrating human sexuality with the lordship of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
We ain't using that shit. Nah, we're not using that for the definition.
You know what's crazy, bro? You talk about getting canceled and you're going to talk about after you say
That
Jesus
is
Christ.
true.
That's the thing you're going to end with.
You're going to cancel me
Wait,
from
hold
my
up.
I'm just
spiritual
saying-
beliefs?
Hold up.
You're not canceling me
Hold
from
up.
my spiritual beliefs.
Hold up.
I'm just saying, we got to be careful.
Hold up.
Yeah, we gotta be
Our,
careful.
our producer had to
that's
just
too
rub his
funny.
eye real quick, though.
Oh, man. No, I'm just joking.
God
'cause
bless
you,
America.
You get at us. Well, you know you going to get canceled by the
Nah,
Christians.
This podcast believes in the separation of church and state. We are the state, that's the church, we separate. Moving on from that. That is not
Anyways.
sexual discipline as a definition.
Right.
Yeah, right,
Okay,
right.
okay.
That ain't.
Yeah.
All right, so
Got it.
we have a different
Oh, man.
website from medium.com. I'm not going to take the time to pronounce the name because we pressed for time. But sexual discipline at its core is not just about restraining oneself from indulging in sexual activities. It is more about understanding the power of sexuality, recognizing its role in our lives, and channeling this energy productively. It's about responsibility, blah, blah, blah. So, with that being said,
Talk about
Yes.
do you guys think that you are sexually disciplined?
I think I am a lot more better than I was in my earlier years, I would have to say, or my early 20s, mid 20s. I've definitely come a long way because my early 20s, mid 20s, I was wild.
What was you doing? Was you like 7, 8 times
I
a day?
plead the fifth. I ain't gonna tell all of this shit. But I was wild, man. I was just knocking it down and stuff, having my fun flings, all of those things. But I feel like once you get to a certain level and stage where you're in a different mindset and you mature more, you realize your time is your greatest resource.
What about you, Efficient? Are you sexually disciplined? You can be honest.
This is an intervention
It is.
for supposedly both of us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would say
Sneaky bastards.
lately I have been not so disciplined. I actually had
Your
to.
face look like
I-
that, though.
And by not disciplined,
He's like,
what do you
y'all
mean?
putting me
Yo,
on the spot.
yo,
Have you been
I-
responsible?
I have been responsible, yeah.
How have you been responsible?
Just dating and intentionally.
Stop bullshit. Have you been responsible?
Intentionally dating with one partner at the time, and going in with one partner and staying, monogamous for a while.
Are you using protection? Or is that too intrusive?
That's a little intrusive.
No, we're exploring our dating scene now by going out in public and doing all those things. We're gonna go back and we're gonna get there, but right now we're really trying to get the chemistry, the energy.
Are you channeling your sexual energy productively?
Yeah.
Yo,
It's been a lot of work.
efficient for mayor. That's the most political answer.
Yeah.
I love it.
This sounds like efficient bullshit.
Oh man.
What about you, Maciah?
Out of the
What
hot
about
seat.
you?
Yeah, sexual discipline. Yeah, I understand, especially now in my later part of the 30s. I'm in the mid, right there in the middle. All right, I practice, I understand boundaries, I understand cues, social, I understand
Social cues, yeah.
awareness, right? I'm educated to understand that she might be willing, right? But maybe she's not ready to do that yet.
Yeah.
I understand when to draw lines. We have key words, whatever, pineapple, strawberry, whatever, that make it more comfortable for her, because I've learned over the years that a lot of men don't have sexual discipline.
Can you give an example?
Huh?
Yeah, what is an example of lack of sexual discipline?
Like there's this, she might tell you she's not feeling it today. Come on, baby, because there's a fine line between keep on asking to you now not respecting her wishes.
Got you.
Or she doesn't want to try this new thing, but you're manipulating her like, oh, I guess you don't, and you're forcing her to do certain things, right? And or in my case, it would be more like I used to be on a level where I just wanted it so much, it didn't matter how I was getting it from them. And when I say that, nothing like against their will, but let's just say they, when somebody loves you and they love you, they're willing to do certain things because they love you, but they weren't comfortable with it.
Of course.
Like, and instead of easing them into it,
It's like you're forcefully.
it's like, it's not even forced, because I want you to
No,
do it,
you
but,
better use it.
but
I'm sorry,
it's more on the level of she's doing it because she loves you and not because she really wants to.
My bad.
You know what I mean? That sounds wild.
Like
Come here, girl. No, it's not none of that, bro. It's not
I
that.
would like to be finding someone that wants, like, they do it because it pleases them, But
Yeah.
sexual discipline, yeah. You definitely, I've been disciplined.
That's what's up.
I've been disciplined.
Yeah, go ahead.
Takes a lot of work.
You said something about the coaxing part, right? Have you? Oh no, actually now I remember my question. Sorry. So the question is, why do you think you felt led to be to that level and stage where you felt like? Where do you think it stemmed from? Because I think for me, I'll tell you my reason why. Dang, I hit the
Go
mic
ahead
real hard.
first, bro. You want to go?
I think for me, part of it was due to the stigma that was surrounded around the idea of sex or the notion, because I grew up in a strict religious home, and religion,
Nice.
and saying, oh, you gotta wait till marriage, and you're indoctrinated in this certain kind of a way, and just to be suppressed like for a long time, where when you finally now get it right and you're active, it's like you didn't have people to kind of like lead and guide you. Like what we had the episode in the mental health and education, like sexual education and stuff, But go ahead, you have something to say.
Now to add to what you said, let's just throw some little numbers out.
Got you.
So in Christian, Muslim, and Jewish, right?
Yeah.
These three main sectors of United States. I know there's other sub, but those three.
Yes.
62% of people who are what we call sexual repression, meaning they withhold sex and this is for religious purposes.
Yes.
They tend to, for better words, let's just make it pretty, not pretty, let's make it a little funny. They are the worst freaks.
Oh, you mean like they're sexually oppressive, so they become
yeah.
freaky?
Yeah, because what
becomes
happened is
perverse.
sexual
It
repression,
becomes way more perverse.
right, leads to sexual frustration, and sexual frustration sometimes now you don't have no boundaries.
Yeah.
So you will hear all these stories of, and we went to church, this one,
Oh man.
that one,
Left to right.
this guy, that guy, because there was no healthy talk about it. You're repressing, you have all this pent up sexual energy.
And especially in your
And
youth.
now
on top of it.
you gotta let it go. So the boundaries don't exist. That's why you see those weird guys in the club. Where they come and they be on them girls, and the girls like, no, and they just mad aggressive. No, I said no. And they're so aggressive trying to get a dance.
Yo, you really know how it's done, don't you? What's wrong with you?
That's what they do. I swear to you, that's how they look. Eyes wide open, they don't blink at all.
But I'm so sorry, bro. I know you wanted to
No,
talk.
he look like a weirdo NPC.
Yeah.
Yo, he's stupid.
No disrespect.
I know.
But
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
you said they haven't learned. So when did you guys learn about your own sexual discipline? Like, did it happen over time? Was it like an epiphany? Like, did you have a moment where you started to realize, like, oh, this is how I should probably act going forward?
I think it was an epiphany, and then of course it was an epiphany, and then it took time for me, honestly, to now that I'm aware of it, now I have to cultivate it and build it up and be like, all right, I need
Do
to
you know
chill
what
and
happened
know.
specifically, or you don't want to say? I don't want to.
I mean, I would say for me specifically per se, it was just realizing that I was just like chasing too much. Like I was wasting time, I was wasting energy, I was wasting resources. I'm like, and it's like a poon hound. It's like, bro, like I need to be grounded, I need to be focused. I'm like in this relationship, and I'm in this relationship.
He's a poon hound still. That's why he looked like that.
And you could ask Maciah. We've had plenty in-depth talks about that. I told him about that one shorty that I was with her, and then from the moment that we separated, it just felt like I didn't know who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have a sense of who I was or what my purpose was in life or what I'm aiming for, what I'm striving to be. And I feel like as a man, that's the most important thing in life. You know, your relationship with God, whatever that might be, and your purpose in life. I feel like everything else falls into place. So for me, that's when I had to be like, all right, I need to focus and hone in on myself. And then that's where slowly but surely I did
What about
it.
fishing?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear fishing.
Yo, that was
He's like, there is no answer.
He's like, I'm still working on it.
Still working on it.
still a work
You
in
can
progress.
be honest.
I was still a work in progress, but when I realized I had the issues, those were before I became a father. So I wanted to really make sure I got myself right on some disciplines, so that way I knew at least I could be a good father and role model to whatever being was coming out or whatever was coming, because I knew we had planned it, I knew what it was, and like you said, a purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my day job, and I was like, man, I gotta get more money. This is my purpose too.
Yeah.
So everything started to change, and that's when I was like, yo, I gotta get in the gym. I gotta start doing push-ups like this, and
Got to channel that sexual energy.
yeah, I had to channel
that's
it because it was
channeling
like
it.
I'm not getting it at home now, and I would talk to you like I'm going to get walks and all this, and
Yeah.
it was a process of just saying, you know what, let me detach myself from that, and even my kid's mom, we had to talk about it like, well, obviously we're not gonna be doing this, and I was like, well, that's cool. So what are we gonna do instead? And it was like, well, we can do X,
Smart
Y.
man.
Yeah, it was like, well, we could do X, Y, and Z for those things, and then, but we'll still try to do dates. We'll still try to be intimate and love on each other and show love. And I think that's important, is showing love.
In sexual discipline?
In the sexual discipline, showing love in other ways, like other love languages. So that's acts of service, massage, or doing, little chores or whatever, taking task lists off of your partner, or, whatever it may be, gift giving, or,
Do you want me to answer it?
Yeah,
Then
you
you answer?
Yeah, I'll answer.
But you got to, because we want to hear from you.
Yeah, we got to hear from you.
Because sometimes the moderators, they be talking, trying to get everybody, don't want to answer. But for me, the funny thing is, that's why at Penn State, right, bro? There was this thing on the board, and it was about this 65-year-old. She was a tantra lady.
Oh, cool.
Right? And she was giving sex classes for men. So I signed up for it, right? Because when I was in college, right? Now, this is not a part of the school. She put her flyer. It's outside the school.
Got you.
Right? I went, and I started to learn about pleasing women and understanding their cues and how to get them ready and how foreplay, all these things. And in learning these things, I learned about boundaries. I've learned about code words, making them feel comfortable with this, letting people know, talk communication about your sexual desires. Because a lot of times we try to come into this and we some nasty boys. No, I don't know if we really are, but we could be some nasty boys. But you're not even letting her know that you have these kind of sexual. So when she comes into this thinking it's missionary and maybe a little doggy, you like, nah, I want to do helicopter. She's like, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no. So you get to know your partner. You feel me? And that class was very beneficial.
So
that's what taught me
that's amazing you brought that up, because I think there's another question that we had generated in the chat, and it was, do you feel like with, you know, our sexual discipline, especially for men, right? Do you feel like we put these unrealistic expectations on women too? Because, you know, you mentioned the whole thing about the helicopter and, you know, all these other different things where let's tie in, I guess, corn and this, and they match it to be like, this is how it's supposed to be.
But that again, that's another fine line, because there's a fine line between healthiness of like understanding your thing to know that this girl's not even flexible for helicopter. What are you trying to do to her?
Exactly.
She doesn't like BDSM.
Yes.
So what are you doing to her? There's this thing where you have to understand that that's entertainment and this is real, and have a line where you might find a shorty that does this, but also have some stuff that you can still be satisfied with, that I would say as men. And I feel that's what crosses the line with men.
Yeah.
A lot of men lack discipline. We talked about this. But before I continue, I want to hear from
we have to hear you.
When did I learn sexual discipline?
Because we are.
About the same time that I learned, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I gave my museum analogy where you got to treat every attractive person like a piece of art in a museum. You admire it, you look at it, it's nice, but you don't take it home with you.
I love that one.
I love it.
I use it often.
You kind of have to, because if you don't, you will literally get.
I love it.
You won't understand how to control your urges, especially sexually. Because us as men, especially when you're young and you don't have any proper father figures or whoever the hell else to teach you proper, these things with your urges and whatnot, how to deal with them and not to, be led by your penis, you get caught up in stuff. It confuses you into thinking that maybe you may like somebody a lot more than you actually do. What it sometimes looks like is fawning over somebody more than you probably should. You think you're romantically drawn to somebody, but really it's just misguided sexual energy.
So can I ask you a question?
Can I ask something real quick?
Go ahead.
Just real quick. And I just love that quote that you said, because I think that's the true epitome of sexual discipline right there too, because that's how I knew I was getting to that level of sexual discipline. I could look at a show and like, damn, she attractive. But it's like, once I hear her start talking, it's a different story.
You keep it moving.
Yeah, because the story she starts telling you of all this past trauma.
So if she didn't talk, you would be still engaged though. So is that really sexual discipline?
No,
because
I think it is because you. Can I answer for you? It's weird, but I think it is because you realize that just because she's attractive doesn't make her worth your time.
Exactly.
Because now you understand there's more to a woman sexually than just her physical appearance.
Exactly. Because I've talked to shorties that they were average looking, decent little body, but the way their personality is, the way their aura was when they came into a room and it just lit up the room, or something beautiful about her kind spirit, that was more attractive to me, and that wanted me to deeply get to know her, not just on the surface level. Oh, I just want to chase.
I want you to get your question off, because I have two more before we close.
This question to you would be, at what age did you?
21.
21.
Wow.
21.
Really
right
good.
I remember exactly when it was happening.
Fire.
You're better than me.
Can you elaborate a little bit? Just a little.
I used to be a simp. I've said that plenty of times. I used to be a simp. You know about all those stupid old love songs. You'll never hear them. But
until he dies.
I started realizing how it was a combination of sexual energy and also just romantic pontification and wanting these things. But I started realizing that I'm obsessing over these ideas and potential relationships.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not really spending my energy properly on things that matter to me truly. You know, it's like this idea of wanting to be in a relationship, or this idea of wanting to have somebody to have sex with or whatever. I really should be focusing my energy on things to make myself better, things to improve myself. It's like, you want a good sexual partner? Make yourself a good sexual partner.
That's true.
Bong bong.
You know?
That's good.
What I want to ask you guys is,
Yeah, go ahead.
what are some of the consequences if you don't have sexual discipline?
Oh, that's a long list. Jail is one of them.
Jail for real.
There you go. You hit it.
Labeled as a sex offender.
Yep.
You could do
Alcohol
some
addiction, drug
serious
addiction.
trauma to people, and that can spread
A lot
to
of
other
risky
people.
behavior.
A lot of risky. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, risky behavior is a huge list. The list of risky behaviors.
What does lack of sexual discipline look like?
All right, this is a funny analogy. We talked about it.
Go ahead.
You ever seen? Now, I've been to the strip club twice in my life.
Ever.
Because
We went a couple of times, more than
Why
twice.
you snitching, bro?
only
Yeah,
twice.
why
No,
you
that's- that's
snitching,
all
man?
right.
Only twice.
This is why we need to
He
get
trying to start. He trying to get people in trouble. I know I only went
Yeah,
twice.
he gonna tell me you better lawyer up.
I know I only went twice. But what you see though is these guys, right? And they're using their last dime just to get some potential, but not even guaranteed.
Of course.
Because some of these they're high rollers. They're gonna need a couple thousand or
Oh,
a thousand,
yes.
and they're willing to throw that money, right, just to have sexual frustration, and then take it out and deal with whatever they have to do. Which you'll see sometimes fights at a club, and it usually be the one who is the smallest energy, right? Because he wasn't getting nothing.
SP energy.
He start fighting other people who want to take it outside, shoot up the club. Not that club, but gun club, you know?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Or you might see those guys who are socially awkward.
Yeah,
Like when you see them outside trying to even talk to a woman,
they don't know how to.
they don't know how to.
Sometimes I'm a little socially awkward myself. Not
Is
as
it
bad.
socially awkward though, or just shy? That's totally two different things.
People are shy.
Because we could be shy, like, oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
you
okay.
gotta build the nerves to talk to them. But when they
Yeah,
start
yeah.
talking, they say
You
the
feel like you
weirdest
could get the flow,
things.
yeah.
They have done these, like one guy I went to the club with, right? We were talking. I had it set up nicely.
Yeah.
Me and this guy can sing, so I was like, yo.
I already know
Thing
who it is.
there. Right? I was like, yo, bro, it's already set. I got this one. I'm going to take one for the team. You're going to do your thing. Right? Then the music died down because he doesn't know how to keep a conversation going and was being weird with the touchy-feeliness without knowing when to touch. There's a...
Time and a place.
They would give you cues to let you know. So she yelled, "Don't touch me again!"
While it was quiet.
While it was quiet, everyone's like,
That's embarrassing.
embarrassed the whole man. That's
one
A
of the
lack.
consequences.
That's a consequence, yeah.
Go ahead, guys. Sorry, I took up some time.
The fishing, you got
Yeah.
it.
No,
We
I've
still on
never
good
heard
time
of
too.
a sexual. I've never had those kind of sexual experiences that bad.
Never, not one.
Me?
A fishing like,
Yeah.
yo, this intervention
Like a
ain't
bad
about me,
run-in?
man. I'm
Like
fine.
a bad, yeah.
No, not me. No.
Well,
I've been
you
alright.
personally?
Me personally, no. I've been
Oh.
alright. I've been
to the
good.
side, dog.
I've
no,
been
no.
so good.
No, I didn't know if you were talking about somebody else.
I wish
hear
I
you.
did. That sounds nuts. Like
I got one more
you
question.
walk
for
around
you
doing
guys.
all this
Yeah,
craziness.
you ever hit a girl's head on the ceiling? No.
Okay,
I don't
just
have
joking.
that action
I'm just
whatsoever.
joking. That's
I
just saying.
have done
I'm
some
not a part
wild
of this.
stuff.
Nah,
You
you
will
would
see
not.
These
That's
are
what I'm
all
remove
fictional.
clothes
This is just
at a
jokes.
club. I will remove a couple
What?
clothes.
All right, no,
I
we're
want to
just
know
joking.
one more thing
We're just joking.
from you guys before we head on out. I want to know, when do you guys find it most difficult to be sexually disciplined?
Festivals.
Yo, he said it with such confidence. He's like, oh man,
Festivals.
titties and ass everywhere.
Oh, it's everywhere. Those outfits.
What about you?
I would have to say, like, when I'm disciplined, actually, when I'm really disciplined or focused, that's when it's hard for me, because it just builds up, like, especially if I'm like, my goal and purpose is go to the gym to like hit it hard or do whatever it is, or I'm
So when
focused
the
on
gym-
something, yeah, it just amps up the energy more.
And what does it look like when you're
What?
not sexually disciplined? What do you look like when you're not sexually disciplined?
When I'm not sexually disciplined, I'm a little frustrated though.
Like, like explain it to me. Break it down. I want to visualize.
Oh,
I would've-
wait, pause. Flag on the face. I want to visualize.
I wanna visualize
the
for the
sweat
viewers.
glistening off your. Yo,
All right, then. All right,
much
then,
pressure.
Maciah, since you want to
ask
steal the
Maciah.
thunder,
Too much pressure.
what is your sexual? What is your sexual?
What does it
lack
look
of
like
life
for you?
like?
What does it look like for you?
Start shaking.
Don't hit the mic though.
Nah, for
What does
me,
it look like for you?
for me, it's when it happens more, or just in general, or just what it looked like. I start to get.
When do you
little-
find it most difficult to be sexually
Oh,
disciplined?
well, most difficult is when I'm chasing after a purpose, right? Because when I am after a
Same.
goal, not gonna lie,
It gets harder.
I kind of put sex on the back burner. But in doing that, the temptation gets real.
It gets harder.
And then I have this where if I'm gonna indulge, then it could get bad. I can start now putting my goal to the side to do it. So I really focus on the goal. That's when it hits me the most.
Same thing.
When
Yeah,
you're
I would say
focusing
that.
on a purpose. You ever seen that, bro? You doing your music, you out
Yeah.
doing something, and that's when shorties want to flock to you.
Yeah. Because
Or-
your energy, you're building
Or
up that
you're-
energy.
You're with your homies, having fun. That's when the girls want to come around.
course.
You see what I'm
They
saying?
sense that energy,
What about
bro.
you, bro?
I find it most difficult to be sexually disciplined when I'm inebriated. That's one of the reasons why I don't.
You don't drink that much.
I mean, I can drink. It's just that I get vulnerable. I've told one of my best friends this plenty of times, is that when you're inebriated, you're at your most vulnerable for people to take advantage of you or accuse you of
So you
things.
telling me girls be taking advantage of you like that?
No, I mean, they can take advantage of your lack of sexual discipline.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's like, so for example, if you're a poon hound and whatever, but you're not even really trying, like, if you're a known poon hound or whatever,
Right.
and you're drunk, you could get a false accusation just because of your own reputation.
Right.
They use it against you.
That's true.
And I'm as susceptible as anybody else
Because you're human. And
because
you're a
I'm
man.
human. And it's like, listen, you don't want to have a lack of sexual discipline and then, bing, bang, boom, then you go with 4 kids or something. Or you just, you choose, you do something that you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
You all right?
That's so deep.
Like, that's my biggest weakness.
So, bro, if you don't mind me asking, because you came up with this and I love this topic. What is some things, let's speak to the men now. What is some things that you can tell them that's applicable, yeah, that's the word, that they can use in their daily lives relating to sexual discipline?
What I'll say is,
Like what works for you?
well, I'll tell you things that work for me, but I think
And
that,
universal.
but that are also universal as well.
That's good.
One thing that I'll definitely say is understand for yourself the difference between sexual repression and sexual discipline. Learn when you're repressing your urges versus when you're trying to channel them. Repression can look like many things,
Right.
but properly channeling it could be, anything from going to the gym, anything from hanging out with friends,
Yes.
anything from having a hobby, or
Yes,
even,
that's a big one.
I am not legally authorized to give this advice, but it's like even sometimes releasing yourself sexually so that you can focus on other
Self-pleasure.
things.
Right.
Self-pleasure.
It's a beautiful way to say it.
Self-pleasure. I will say that you have to learn what is you being distracted for a minute and then you not properly channeling your sexual energy.
Right.
Understand the responsibilities of it, understand the power of it, and most of all, understand how it not only affects you, but the people you care about.
Right. And to add, go
And
ahead,
one
brother.
quick thing to
I
top
love
it off.
this.
And one thing to top it off, your sexual energy is the biggest energy at all. Period. It's the governing force of why we are here. You know what I'm saying? That's one of our functions that we have to fulfill. So channel it. It's very powerful. Up the chakra.
And another thing,
This guy
to-
knows.
Another thing to add to that, which was beautifully said by both of you, is to have self-awareness, educate yourself, understand your partner, because sexual discipline also deals with your partner.
Yeah.
And then you also have to respect and understand boundaries. Healthy boundaries.
Huge,
Set
huge,
'em
huge.
and stuff. And like you said, one of the top things, understand the difference between sexual discipline, which is the definition he said, sexual repression, and how long you're going to repress yourself. Because that's another thing.
Yeah.
Because sexual repression for too long
Not good.
will lead to sexual frustration, will lead to lack of wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Because when you think we're down there, then up here, you cause trouble.
Yes.
So, bro, big man.
Yo, give
Close
yourself
us
some.
out, baby.
Yo, give yourself some grace. Show yourself some love. Show yourself some care, and show your partner and all your friends that care and grace as well. Continue to like, subscribe, and follow us all. Comment in the section below. Share. Turn notifications
you said
on.
that, yeah.
And I think the big message here was really to understand ourselves and love ourselves with the energy that we have, our sexual energy, and our
Yes.
disciplines as men.
And me and Efficient will be checking into rehab after.
Yeah, I really will.
We're
be.
gonna
I really,
detox.
yeah, I actually did set up a therapy, and I had a therapy session. That was
Beautiful.
great. But let's peep this one.
Could I say one thing before we go?
Hell yeah. Of
One
course you
last
can.
thing. Listen, guys, this is season 3. And I want to let you know we came up with a name for you guys.
Yes.
Right? And you've seen me hinting at it. You've seen Wise hinting at it. We are calling our fans the HR department. So you,
Our producer, he's dying laughing.
so you guys can start reporting us, calling us on our BS, and make sure that you keep us accountable.
Exactly.
Especially Dajonte.
I'm pretty sure they have.
I'm
been
the
doing
biggest
this.
villain here, man.
Oh, man.
Tickle Monster's coming soon. I'm
But
kidding.
we do like that you follow us. We do like that you subscribe. Send your questions to Instagram. Send your questions to YouTube. And if you have any on TikTok, we're there to share. So thank you guys. Hi, my name is Maciah. Will you join us?